So I would love maybe just 3 points of why you, and Mr. Ravenel, why you?
You go first.
Whomever.
All right. I have a master's degree in accounting from West Virginia University. Back in 1980, when I studied tax law, I walked into the law library to find out how big the code was. The tax law library at West Virginia University had a floor dedicated just for the Internal Revenue Code and all tax law and all tax courts opinions and all that. And one thing I learned from that is the IRS is the American KGB. I knew that back in late 1980s, but when I said it back then, I was fringed. People thought I was fringed because of it. The Internal Revenue Code makes you do things that you don't want to do. And now, here recently we found out that they can't keep hold of their own emails. So one thing I would do, and I've been preaching the last couple months about this, because this is an idea that came in my head. I was a small business owner, and I know that the state tax department does pretty much the same thing as the Internal Revenue Service. Why are we paying for 2 services, one at the federal level and one at state level? The state tax department can do the same thing they do. Each state has their own state tax department. We can just turn around, allow them to do the work, and send the money up to the federal government, and the federal government will pay the states a percentage to do that, and we can get rid of a layer of bureaucracy right there. You and I would save money on that. That's the first step. The second step would be, I want to get rid of the income tax system. I believe it wrecks the economy. Everyone's doing things under the table and don't want to sit here and to record their, what they're actually doing so that they'll pay taxes. We also had a, I don't know if you know the news, but in Lexington we have a corrupt sheriff, and I'm sure that he didn't record everything he took in. So I prefer to go to a sales tax, a national sales tax, and that way you don't pay until you buy something. To me, the income tax is pretty much just, it's like slave. You're forcing people to give up part of their labor to pay for things that they don't want to have. And to me, that's wrong. We need to have a national sales tax. Now, another thing, just recently, with the Federal Election Commission, they've been targeting all these people. It's like the bureaucrats feel like they do anything that they want. They're above the law. Someone needs to hold them accountable. If I go to Washington, I'm going to start holding these people accountable. They're not going to get away with some of this stuff they're getting away with today. I dealt in my business. I had to deal with bureaucracy all the time, and I found out every bureaucrat has the same thing in common. They want their paycheck, and if you do anything to threaten their paycheck, they'll straighten up.
You stay in Lexington?
I live in Richland County, but
Oh, nice. Around.
Okay. I went to the Citadel, graduated in '85, worked in real estate, then got my MBA at University of South Carolina. With advanced training in investments, banking, finance, and got into real estate development, developed over 70 shopping centers and projects in 10 states. During that time, as an owner-developer, I had to borrow money on each project. I never missed a payment, ever. I never had a default, never had a bankruptcy, never had a real estate workout like Donald Trump. People say, how can we trust you? I said, well, I did a lot of advanced audits. I didn't do just 1 or 2, I did 50. They kept coming back to me because they trust me. I did 16 food lines. I've done a number of other things like Viola and Walmart, but I'm a real estate developer and I've been very successful in that. Politically, I think we need to change our foreign policy. We need to reshape our defense so that it's more humble and that it provides for our common defense. I believe what Thomas Jefferson said in his first inaugural. Let's trade with the rest of the world, let's engage in commerce, entangling alliances with none. And let's stop trying to be the world's 9/11. It makes us less prosperous, less free, and less safe. That's number one. Number two, let's take Medicaid. Let's block grant it. It worked for welfare reform. We should block grant it and allow the states to experiment. Those are 2 things. Number three, I want to get rid of the war on drugs, okay? I don't want South Carolina to legalize drugs, but I want the federal government basically say, we're out of this business. During alcohol prohibition, when they repealed, say what you will about the teetotalers, at least they respected the Constitution. They passed a constitutional amendment to ban alcohol. And the enabling legislation was the Volstead Act. When they repealed it, such a dumb idea, it was the only amendment to the Constitution that's ever been repealed. They didn't legalize it for the states. They said, we're getting out of the business. You 50 states, you figure it out. To this day, there are counties that are still dry. That's what I want the federal government to do. But we're not only doing this to our own country, but we're in other countries. We're in 83, the DEA is in 83 other countries imposing this horrible policy. And it's creating a lot of problems. So I want the federal government to repeal the Controlled Substance Act of 1971, get rid of the DEA. Leave it to the states. South Carolina still wants to have these laws. Fine. People can vote with their feet, and then you've got the laboratories of democracy again. This is federalism. That's the beauty of this country, and we need more of it.
Can I just ask one further, just a point of clarification from Mr. Ravenel, what you just said? Thank you very much.
Can I add one more point?
Absolutely.
Our drug prohibition is far worse than alcohol prohibition. Alcohol prohibition, just the vendors and manufacturers were incarcerated. Now, just the mere users are going to jail. And the purpose of government is to protect people, secure their natural rights from those who would violate them through force or fraud. It's not to protect people from themselves. That leads inevitably to a surveillance state. So I could go on ad nauseum. I know a lot of people want to leave, but so I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Just a point of clarification, maybe I misunderstood your point when you were talking about the military, but what caught my ear was you used the word military and humble in the same sentence. Yeah. Do you not, what I picked up was a concern, do you not believe in American exceptionalism because of our amazing military, our highly trained, amazing military, or are you thinking, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Well, if
did I interpret that correctly or no?
Exceptionalism means that we have to solve every conflict across the globe, which we cannot do. I think it's a fool's errand, and we should not even attempt to do it. I think other countries should pay for their own defense and contribute. For example, people say, well, we have to keep all the trade lanes open, you know, for free flow of trade. Mm-hmm. Well, if we're 10% of the beneficiaries, why should we, as tapped out taxpayers, pay for 100% of that security? Why can't the rest of the world contribute? All the other countries that are benefiting from free trade. I don't think that we should bear the full brunt of it. We can't afford it. We're $140 trillion in debt.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, I want to ask a question because you were mentioning about eliminating